Hey guys, welcome back to IKeFam Driving School. In today's video, we'll be going through the DVLA and government's officials show me and tell me driving test questions. You can also find on the gov.uk website. We'll explain how to approach and answer each one confidently and through visible demonstrations throughout to make it super easy to follow. Let's get straight into it. Tell me how you check that the brakes are working before starting a journey. When you press the brake pedal, it shouldn't feel spongy or slack. As you set off, test the brakes gently. The car should not pull to one side, and the brakes should respond effectively. Tell me where you'd find the information for the recommended tire pressures and how to check them. You'll find the correct tire pressures in the vehicle manual, or sometimes on a sticker inside the driver's door. Use a reliable pressure gauge when the tires are cold. Don't forget to check all 4 tires and the spare if you have one. Always refit the valve caps after checking. Tell me how you'd make sure your head restraint is correctly adjusted for the best protection. The rigid part of the head restraint should be level with the top of your ears or eyes and close to the back of your head. Tell me how you'd check the tires. Have sufficient tread depth. The tires should have at least 1.6 millimeters of tread depth. Also, check that there are no cuts, bulges, or damage to the sidewalls. Tell me how you'd check that the headlights and taillights are working. Switch the headlights on, then walk around the car to check that both the front and rear lights are working correctly. Tell me how you'd know if there was a problem with your anti-lock braking system. A warning light with the letter ZEBS would appear on the dashboard if there's a fault with the system. Tell me how you'd check the indicators are working. Turn on the hazard warning lights and walk around the vehicle to check all the indicators are flashing. Tell me how you'd check the brake lights are working. Press the brake pedal and ask someone to check the lights for you, or use reflections in windows or doors to see if the lights come on. Tell me how you'd check the power steering is working before starting a journey. With the ignition on, gently turn the steering wheel. It should feel light and easy to move. Tell me how you'd switch on the rear fog lights and explain when you'd use them. Turn on the ignition, then the dipped headlights, and finally the fog lights. Check the warning light appears on the dashboard. Use fog lights only when visibility is reduced to less than 100 meters. Tell me how you switch your headlights from dipped to main beam and how you'd know the main beam is on. With the ignition and dipped headlights on, activate the main beam. A blue warning light should appear on the dashboard. Open the bonnet and tell me how you'd check that the engine has enough oil. Remove the dipstick, wipe it clean, then reinsert and remove it again. The oil level should be between the minimum and maximum marks. If it's low, top it up carefully, but don't overfill. Open the bonnet and tell me how you'd check that the engine has enough coolant. Look at the coolant level markings on the header tank. If it's below the minimum mark, top it up with a mix of water and antifreeze only when the engine is cold. Open the bonnet and tell me how you'd check you have a safe level of hydraulic brake fluid. Check the brake fluid reservoir under the bonnet. The fluid level should be between the min and max marks. If it's low, check the manual for the correct fluid type and top it up carefully. Thanks for watching IKeFam. We hope this helped you feel more confident for your driving test. Drop a comment if you've got any questions. Don't forget to subscribe, tap that notification bell, and stay tuned for the Show Me questions. And we'll see you in the next video.